As you think about innovation in your company, you'll have to decide whether you want to invent or improve. Find out which one in today's episode. One of the biggest decisions you will ever make is whether you're going to invent or not. So make sure you take that decision very seriously. So people ask me all the time, what is the difference between inventing and improving? Come on, you know the answer to that. But let me explain something to you. Improving is a death trap. Everybody wants to improve, and of course you should. And the reason they do is because improving is easy. Make this one a little bit better and everybody will be happy, and we'll feel like we did our job. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't continually improve, because you should. You have to continually increase your margins, lower your costs, increase your market penetration, all of those things. But if that's all you do, you won't be around in 10 years. So the most important thing that you need to take away from this video is you also have to invent. And invention is not easy. Now, when you try to invent things, your biggest obstacle are going to be your shareholders and your board and your employees. And you have to find a way to mitigate it. You have to find a way to be a cheerleader, to be a coach, to be a persuader. You have to get around all those obstacles and keep the product and the new developments moving forward. But don't make the mistake of thinking invention is an engineering problem. It's not. It's a people problem. So pay most of your attention to that. When you invent something new, particularly something the company has never done before, it's a culture shock. People walk around going, oh my God, what does this mean to me? Am I going to have a job when it's done? I don't understand this new technology, because they're used to walking in, checking their brains at the door, doing their thing, making the donuts, and then leaving. So you have to re-engage the culture and get it used to the idea and get it immersed in the idea of inventing new things and plowing new ground. When Miller Ingenuity introduced the Zone Guard product, one of the things that we needed to be careful of in terms of the culture was we didn't want the people that were associated with that product to be considered the cool kids. When you introduce a new, sexy, cool, and exciting thing for people to do, that you don't let them get labeled as new kids. You don't let them behave that way. You don't speak about them that way. You always have to make sure you love up, for lack of a better phrase, the culture that's in, the people that are still involved in the legacy products. And you need to make sure at every employee engagement, every employee encounter, you're saying, you know what, if it wasn't for the legacy products employees, the people that are into the new products couldn't afford to do what they do. So let's all give them a big round of applause. As you're sitting around thinking about how to invent new products, the first thing I don't want you to do is go talk to your board and your shareholders about this grand scheme that you have of inventing a brand new thing that probably won't work. If you look at the failure rates of new product development, depending on who you talk to, it's between 85 and 95%. First is to find out how creative your organization currently is. And that's a pretty easy thing to do. Just hire a creativity expert. They'll come in, just like we did at Miller, and they'll assess your organization's creativity. You know what's interesting? Most people think that you're either born an Einstein or you're not. You either have creativity genes or you don't, but that's not true. Study after study has debunked that. And once you train people and immerse them and give them the tools to be creative, you'd be amazed at what they could do. That would be the first thing I would say you should do. And the second thing you should do is come to Miller Ingenuity, where we created what we call a creation station. Years ago, we trained our employees. I brought a culture expert in, I brought a creativity expert in. In fact, I brought in the ex-creativity officer for the QVC network. Now, how weird is that? A home shopping network kind of thing, teaching a manufacturer how to be creative. Well, in fact, he did. And then we gave our employees tools and techniques for how to brainstorm, how to come up with ideas, how to implement ideas, and so forth. We started off, employees, we want you to work on this problem in this place, and we'll give you these resources. Fast forward to now, and our employees decide what they're going to work on, when they're going to work on it. They marshal their own resources, and most importantly, is they execute the solutions, because ideas without solutions and execution are useless. But what happened was, a couple of years ago, our employees said, you know, we really like this stuff and we really want to keep on doing it. We could do it better if we had a cool, high technology space conducive to problem solving. That's not exactly the way they expressed it, but that's the way I'm expressing it. So I spent $500,000 creating what we call the Creation Station. And now employees come back there any day of the week, any hour of the day. You walk in there, people will be sitting around. We've got lounge chairs, we've got electronic whiteboards, have video all over the place, even a ping pong table. So that's what they do, and they do it whenever they want, and we encourage it. But here's the important thing. You can't tell employees, I expect you to spend 20% of your time in Creation Station, but you still gotta make the donuts. So what I did is I hired 20% more people to give them the time and the space to make that happen. And that's really important. Most CEOs make the mistake when they say, I want creativity. Everyone go out and be creative. But they don't give the time, the space, the tool, and the resources to do that. And what we've also done is we opened it up to other companies. As a community resource, I let the universities come in, I let other businesses come in, they see how we do what we do, they use it to do the same thing. One of the biggest decisions you will ever make, in fact, I would argue it is the single biggest decision you will ever make, is whether you're going to invent or not. And be very careful and deliberate in that decision, because if you decide to just improve, bye-bye. You won't be the CEO in a couple of years, I guarantee you. So make sure you take that decision very seriously.